Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel jicolourist. My name is Jody and I am thrilled to have you back here for day 17 of our Festive Coloring WIP series, where we are coloring a page every couple of days to get ready for the festive season. This is an Advent coloring book and there are 2 pages per day. The left-hand side of the page is the outside of a building with the number on it, and then the right-hand side of the page is the inside of each building. We are tackling only the left-hand side of the page. If you are brave enough to do both sides, I would love to see any of your completed pages. You can email me at jicolourist@gmail.com and I'll be happy to include your picture in the December video, which will have a gallery of everyone's completed pages along with all of mine. All right, we are on day 17. Woohoo! I'm pretty excited about that. But when I looked at day 17, it is called The Vine, which looks to be a restaurant. So I spent a lot of time looking at both sides of the page, trying to figure out exactly what is going on in the upstairs area. If you look closely at this, none of this is enclosed, and it looks like they're like outside on a patio deck almost, and that just I'm looking outside my window at a foot of snow and I'm thinking there's no way I'd be sitting on a patio at this time of year. However, I do know that lots of places in the world don't have snow at this time of year, so it is possible, but it just kind of, I didn't know, because I mean inside they've got a nice chandelier and there's people eating everywhere as well, and then over here it was very confusing to me as to whether this was outside or inside. So I have made an executive decision, because it's my coloring book and I can do that. I have decided to enclose this and make sure that it is obviously inside. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to draw walls and make this into a window, and then this would be window, but going to extend these bars here down similar to how they are here, because I really think that this page needs a little bit of altering. So I am going to grab a regular HB pencil and a small ruler, and I am going to go ahead and put in those bars. And I'm going to draw right over top of the picture that is already there. So there's my first one. Okay, so that is going to be a solid window bar casing, and I'll do the same to this side. So I'm going to go right over top of this guy's head. Okay, now with these 2 lines, to me this is now enclosed, and I am going to go ahead and color this solid so it's quite obvious, and then I'll be able to do the people inside, but I'll be able to do a window treatment on top, so it'll be clear that those people are inside. For the decorations, I think that I'm going to have all of them be on the outside, so I think that should help as well. All right, now that those are in, I have decided that this is called The Vine, so I am going to do a background of a green, kind of a sage color, and I may even use this Spectrum Noir Sparkle just to use it up. There's a little bit left, so I will go ahead do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back and I have done just one side of it so far. I do like that color. The Spectrum Noir brush pens do have some shine to them, so it is kind of nice, and I would like to use this up. So I will just continue on. I've got lots of paper underneath, and I will just continue doing the background. I'm trying to think of what color to do these bars around the windows or the window casing, and this is a kind of a upscale restaurant, so I'm thinking sophisticated colors, and it's called the Vine, so thinking wine. So I've done the Spectrum or Sparkle pen for the areas down here. I think that I will go ahead and do this banner area up here and then not do this area. I think that I'll maybe have that in like a copper color or something. But I will go ahead and do the rest of this. All right, I have finished the sparkle pen, and I squeezed it and it got a little heavy over here, so I decided just to do a whole bunch. And now the top is ready to be done. I'm going to bring in a Pitt pen, I think in India Red 192, to do the accents. Then I am going to do gold for the leaves here. I'm probably going to bring in the Winsor Newton gold ink and use that for a change. So it separates in the bottle, so you do need to do a lot of shaking up. If you can see the line of gold on there, I've already shaken it quite a bit, but there's still quite a bit on the bottom, so I'm going to have to shake it up some more and probably even stir it. Then I'm going to use a tiny paintbrush and paint the leaves. And then for the vines themselves, I'm going to use a black glaze pen, I think, or maybe a metallic jelly roll. So I'll just scribble some both on a paper and see which one I like best before I go ahead and do that. But we're going to start off with the Pitt Artist Pen India ink, and I'm going to do these around the window casings. If we have anybody in the coloring community here that knows what these window things are actually called, let me know in the comments below so I can properly say what they are, because I keep calling them casings and I'm not sure that that is the correct term or not. Okay, so that will be what I'm going to do, and we'll just get as much done of the outside as we can. We've got a couple of bulbs here that are obviously shining bright light down onto there, so we can do a little bit of work with lighting here. And then up here there's no lights, but I don't imagine they're eating in the dark, so we will have some light there as well. But just so while we're up here, put a piece of paper under my hand. I'm just going to go right over top and see if this covers it. So that's not, it's still see-through. So I think I'm going to have to try a darker color. So I've got dark sepia 175. Let's see if that goes over this. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to have to do this area here, because I do want there not to be the person's face shouldn't be showing through the wood here. So okay, so that solved that problem, and now he is definitely inside the building because part of him is missing. Now my logical brain is appeased. Okay, I'll keep doing that and I'll be right back once I've got the casings done. All right, here we are. I have decided to continue on with the two colors, the dark sepia and the India red. So I have brought the dark sepia down on top of here, and I think I'm going to do it around the door as the door casing, and everything else is pretty much done on the outside. So I will now down here where I squeezed the brush pen and it kind of gushed out, so it's quite shiny down here, and it covers up the design that was there. So I just kind of made sure that this side was done as well. I may just bring in a little bit of washi tape and put over there instead of trying to do the design, or I may just leave it as that for now. So that's something to think about for later. But we do have all of these lights up here, and they're kind of strung like in the air. Again, I'm not really sure what's going on with this building. I think it's a little bit possessed, maybe, I don't know. But I'm going to pretend that somehow they are suspended in air, so I will leave them as is and not extend the roof line at all, because I'm treating this as the roof line. So I'm not sure why the lights are hanging up so high, but I will do some lights with you today and try and do some make them glow if we can. So that is something that we will do together today. And in the meantime, I thought I would bring you down and we'll work on this vine area here a little bit together, and I'll finish off the door. So let me quickly finish off the door, and this is the dark sepia in the Pitt pen. The Pitt pen has been working really well in this book. This book has got quite smooth paper, so the Pitt pen glides on it nicely, and it does help get things done a little faster. So let me finish off this. Okay, I have thoroughly shook up and stirred up the ink, and I am using a tiny paintbrush, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint the leaves. And I did test out the green metallic versus the black glaze pen, and the green is just not strong enough to stand out against the green on here, so I am going to go with a black. Now you could use a watercolor or a gel pen. I just happen to have the ink sitting here, so, and it's already mixed up, but I will be shaking it periodically to make sure that it's well mixed. Love to hear from anybody that has used the Winsor Newton inks before. If you have, they also have silver and white and a bunch of other colors, but I've only just recently purchased the gold, so I haven't tried any others. So if anybody else has some experience with the others, the other colors, let me know what you thought and what whereabouts you use the inks. Like, do you actually use them as inks, or are you using them more like a watercolor? Love to know how people are using the supplies, and you can share some great ideas. Okay, so that is how that will look. I'll do the other side. I'm going to let that dry before I apply the glaze pen, because I don't want two wet items touching and merging together. So I will wait for this to dry. It's not going to take too long. So I'm ready to do the vine here, and I've decided instead of the glaze pen, which I'm going to have to wait to dry for quite a while, I'm actually going to use a Uniball Sino Broad in black. And I tested it out on a piece of paper, and it basically looked the same as the glaze pen. So I just thought I would use that. I haven't used it for a while, and I have used my glaze pens quite a bit, so I'll make use of the gel pen instead. I'm gonna have to turn the page though, so apologize for a skewed angle. It's a little bit easier to control than the glaze pen as well. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn it some more. All right, that's how the vine is going to look. I'll just go and do the other side now. Okay, I haven't used watercolors in a while, and I have been using a lot of gel pens. So instead of using gel pen on the back of this, I decided I'm going to break out my FinTech metallic watercolors, and I have a color called Copper, and it is number 631, and I'm going to do this in copper because I think that will complement the India red around the windows. So that is what I'm going to do. I also did the Sino black gel pen for the wrought iron parts of the chair above. So I just thought and I'm just going to go right over top of the letters because I can still see them underneath, and I will come in with a black pen after I'm done that. Now this is not watercolor paper, so I'm trying to keep the water moving and not soaking into the page, and I'm going to let it dry and probably need to do a second coat. I apologize for the furnace. It's underneath my desk here, and while it is nice on my feed, is probably a little bit noisy for the video, so I apologize if you can hear that. I do try and edit out extra room sounds at all possible. Okay, I'm going to let this dry because I don't want to saturate the paper too much, and come back and see if it needs another coat. While I have the watercolor out though, I'm going to quickly there's a couple of lights hanging, and I'm going to do that in copper as well. As I think that would look smart. It's a little bit of a bougie kitchen. And then we also have this stovetop range here, and I am going to do that copper as well. Could be stainless steel as well, but like I said, this is a bit of a bougie restaurant, and because you can see it from the front window, I imagine that they've decorated it to be quite nice. That's what we're going with anyways. Oh, we might as well do these handles here. And then the 17 around the door, I'm going to make this a window, and then the 17 will probably be black, or we could do it copper. Since we got the copper out, let's just do that. But the window itself is going, around it will be a window. Those are our copper accents. Excellent. We'll let all of this dry, and then if we need a second coat, then we will come back. I don't imagine the inside ones will need a second coat, but some of the outside sign might. All right, bring you up to speed a little bit of what I'm doing. Here is how the vine turned out. I think it looks good. I like the copper inside. I think that is kind of a nice little feature. I did go ahead and I used the Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, the clear, and did this, and I was careful not to actually go over the 17, and that's because the 17 is a watercolor and it would have run. So I probably should have done the 17 in a gel pen or something, and then I could have went right over it, but I still think it looks okay. I think that you can't really tell that the 17 isn't covered, and yeah, so I've done red gel pen and some yellow glaze in the light bulbs, and that's all I've done so far down here. The top area was really bugging me about why is this hanging above, and so I decided that this I was going to do this as a sky, and then we could see that, and I'm like, well, that still doesn't make sense. Why is the lights strung hanging in the middle of the air? So I've decided that this must be the whole roof, and then these are the windows showing. So I am brought back out my Sage Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen, and I am coloring that the same color as I colored the rest of the building, so that this looks like a roof, and then I will be able to do the lights, and it will help my logical brain understand what's going on this picture. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just wanted to bring you up to date to show you that, and I'll continue on doing this area around here. And I just wondered, do you ever look at a page and think, what the heck is going on? Sometimes I have a hard time with the Lulu Mail books, understanding exactly what is going on as well. So sometimes I will avoid certain pictures until I've understood, at least in my mind, what is, what the character is, or what the animal is, or what the background is actually. And yeah, so just wondered if anybody else struggles with that before coloring. I know that you can color things just however you like, but I do struggle a little bit coloring outside, what I call outside the box. So, okay, I will quickly finish this, and then I'm going to think about how to do the lights. I want them to be glowing and sparkly, but I don't want to just use stickles, because that's something totally that would work. I just thought I would like to try something new and different, so I'm going to give that some thought. And if you have a good idea for how you've done Christmas lights or lights differently, comment below to give me some more ideas, because we've still got another few pages left in this book, so I'm sure I'm going to run into Christmas lights again. So any suggestions would be awesome. All right, I'll be right back. Working on the two windows in the front door, I am just using my Mega Color Creative Color big pencil. This is an ivory, and I'm just filling in some of the window before I do the wreath with Pitt pen. Now, I've noticed that a little bit messy around some of these edges. So what I plan on doing is bringing in my copper Signo gel pen to kind of match the copper elsewhere. And I also used the copper when I went around this window. So I thought it would look good to also clean up the edges by using copper and going around that. So sometimes when you're messy, you need to kind of fix things after the fact. Use the gel pen, and that'll just kind of clean it up a little bit. So I just thought I'd bring you back. If you have a time where the edges aren't quite, and that just cleans that up a bit. And this is a juicy gel pen. All the Signo ones are. So I'm going to put this down and then walk away from my page for say half an hour, because I don't want to smudge it. And that's kind of the thing that happens the most for me, is I'm busy doing stuff and then I jump to something else on the page, and then my hand smears through what I've already done. So I will be back in a little bit. Okay, continuing on with the cleanup, I have gone ahead and pulled out my Pitt Artist Pen Black 199, and this is a different kind of nib though, you may not have seen before, and it is called the small nib, and it is basically as tiny as a micron pen. And so what I've done is gone around and cleaned up the edges here. So I've drawn back the lines around the leaves just to make them a little bit more defined. So if you look over here, this one, this has not been done, and this one has. So I just think since it is a sign, it just kind of looks a little bit more complete and a lot cleaner that way. I've also gone and drawn the lines back around the light here, whereas over here they're not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do these as well. So sometimes I like to make sure that the Illustrator lines are there, and sometimes, you know, you take the effort to get rid of them. So and just cleaning them up a little bit. Because the ink went out a little bit of the lines, and so it's not as crisp, so you might look at it and go, what is that? Just a blob, but if I draw the lines back in, then it's clearly their leaves again. So that's just me doing a little bit of cleanup. I may also come and draw a line around the outside of that, or I might leave it. I haven't quite decided, so I'm just going to leave that for now, but I'll finish off these few leaves over here, and then we will move up, zoom you back out, and attempt the top, because this is totally dry now and we're ready to do some lights. So that's what we are going to tackle together next. Okay, we're going to tackle the lights, and we're going to do something a little bit different, something that I haven't tried before. So I've kind of done a little bit of a sample up here. Now, Connie over at the Coloring Chemist, she talked about using I think she used a white pastel pencil to go around the outside of her lights to give them a bit of shimmer, and I thought that that was a good idea. I do have some Gioconda Kohinoor hardmouth soft pencils, and so what I thought I would do is put down a color and then on the outside of it rub this similar pastel around it, so that kind of gives a glow. So I'll just zoom you in a little bit. Okay, you're zoomed in a little bit, and I've done so I've taken a Pitt Artist brush pen in cadmium yellow 107, and I've done the actual bulb part, and then I've taken the soft pencil pastel and just kind of colored around the outside and blended it in a little bit so that there's a bit of a haze around it. And I have 5 different colors that I have. I'll zoom you back out a bit. 5 different colors. So I have a kind of a teal, so a phthalo green 161, and then a purple, which is purple violet 136, then a sky blue 146, and then a red in deep scarlet 219. And I've gone and picked out kind of coordinating soft pastel pencils, and I thought I would just try and go along that. Now, the reason I selected the Pitt Artist brush pen instead of watercolor or something like that is because after I'm done that, I may want to come and use my Dimensional Magic or some glossy accents to go over the bulbs themselves, because I don't really want to spray fixative over the brush pen. So that's the only thing I'm a little bit concerned about. I also have the Dimensional Magic that has the sparkles, so I could also do that, and that might actually work best because I could go over the pastel as well and kind of seal it in. So that's what I'm going to attempt. Hopefully it works out, but I'll zoom you in a little bit again, and we're going to start off with the Pitt pen, and we're just going to do that. I'll do a couple of colors all at once, and then we'll do the pastel all at once as well, just to give the Pitt pens a minute to dry. The blue's not very bright. Maybe I have a brighter blue. Yeah, that blue's a bit brighter. So this blue here is Phthalo Blue 110. And let's see if I've got, yeah, so this is also brighter. Okay, and the red is Deep Scarlet 219, and then I'll begin it again with the yellow, so we'll just do one yellow there. Okay, so let's bring in the soft pastel, and I'm just going to go kind of scumble it around a little bit and kind of push it into the paper a little bit, but just kind of, it just gives a little bit of a, it casts the same color further around the light. I'm not sure how effective it's going to be, but we'll. I think it's definitely giving a little bit of a haze around it, and that's what I think we're going to want. Okay, I swapped out the blue for a darker blue. I'm going to have to wipe my finger off. I could grab a little stump. Okay, so that's how those are going to look. Let's clean off my fingers, and I might grab a stump and see if that helps. So this is just a paper stump, and we're going to do the yellow. Because the stump might get into the paper a little bit more. Okay, where's my finger is just kind of smearing. So let's put the red around here, and I'm going to have to swap the tip to a new tip. Okay, so those are the colors that I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and use some of this dimensional magic, and I'm going to use the iridescent glitter one. If you haven't seen this before, it is a product by Mod Podge. It is similar to Glossy Accents, although this one here has iridescent glitter in it, where this one here is just clear. Going to go right around the whole area. Ooh, comes out very quickly. Okay, I'm going to let that dry and see how it looks before doing the rest, just in case it's a disaster. Okay, see you shortly. Okay, I have gone and put the Pitt pen and the pastel around the rest of these lights, and I was doing that while I'm waiting for these ones to dry. And I think that this is actually looking okay once it's drying down. There is some sparkle, and there's also sparkle in the green paint as well. So I think that the glitter from them all is going to be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the dimensional Mod Podge on the rest of the lights, and I'm just going to be careful not to squeeze too much out. So I'm going to get it started, and then I'm going to let this dry for 24 hours. So that's how that's going to go on. And yeah, I do think that it will look fine, and the glitter in the Mod Podge will just enhance the glitter that's already on the Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen. It's going to look like that. I'll bring you back tomorrow, and hopefully it looks like shining light. All right, it is the next day, and as these were drying last night, I decided to go back and actually put a little dab of extra. So it was starting to dry, but they didn't seem quite as bulb-like as I wanted them. So this is dimensional magic, so that means you can add additional stuff on top of it, and it will make it a little bit more bumpy, so you can actually kind of feels a little bit like Braille. So here is how it's looking. Let me turn the lights on. There, I think you can see the glitter more now, and you can see that they are actually raised up on the page. So I think that the effect is worked out pretty good. I'm happy with the results. I think that some of them look like they're glowing with the additional of the pastel around the actual light, and then the iridescent glitter inside the lights also makes them twinkle a little bit. So yeah, happy with how this turned out. I also completed the wreath. I used kind of a few different colors, more of an autumn color scheme and a little bit of pink for a change. And then I did the snowflakes, silver and blue and pink and silver. So just adding a little bit of different color to the page. And so overall, this is how my page is looking so far. I have done a light ivory using the Mega Color Create-A-Color pencils in the background for the light source. I did, and I'll zoom you down a little bit to see this one. I did the same ivory around the whole, and then I took a yellow Pitt pen in Cadmium Yellow 107, and I just kind of went over top and outlined a few areas where I thought that the light should shine the lightest, or the brightest I should say. And then I did a little bit along here of a different yellow in pencil. So yeah, I'm happy with how this page has turned out. I gave her the same kind of effect, so there's a little bit more light yellow brightness. So once I color the people, the yellow will be on there, and that'll also help me remember maybe where to make the colors a little bit lighter and stuff. So for the people up top, I plan on coloring them all but not doing a whole bunch of detail, because I do want to then do a treatment. I'm thinking I might use the white gouache by Holbein and do a light coating over some of this area to make it really appear like glass, or I might bring in the dragonfly glaze, which we used back on day 12, where there's some shine there. So yeah, happy with how this page has turned out. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you're having some fun coloring in whatever coloring book you're doing. If you are coloring along with me, I look forward to seeing a completed page from you. You can email me at jicolourist@gmail.com, and I will add you to the list of people. Make sure you include your name on your picture if you can. Otherwise, I will edit your photo to add your name, just so everyone gets the proper credit. All right, next video is day 18, and it is Noelle's Boutique. So it is a fashionable ladies wear, and we will tackle that. I'll be needing to put more paper behind here as this book is growing. We are getting a little bit more bumpier, but that's okay. We're having fun, and we're using lots of our stash of supplies that we've already had at the house, and I'm happy with that. So take care until next time. I hope you have a creative and colorful week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.